Haunted Cabaret starts now. All right. That ominous sounding tune was Black Sabbath, Children of the Grave. And the ominous program you're about to listen to is The Haunted Cabaret. I'm your host, George Garner. Across from me is my co-host,
What the hell
Chuckles
was
the
that?
Clown.
Thank you,
What just happened?
Did you just hear that out of nowhere?
Yes. As I was making those introductions, we heard some very ominous. I just love that word. How you come across a word and you just say, the word does something to you. Ominous. I was reading a Stephen King novel and the word ominous came up. And so I think I'm just going to exhaust that word over the next couple of minutes and get out of my system. But yes, we just heard, and it wasn't just ominous. That was downright disquieting.
That was
we just heard. If you remember the movie The Exorcist, when Linda Blair and her mom first start hearing the demon, it's those sounds from the attic. Well, we just heard a sound from our attic, so to speak, which is actually the floor above us, but our attic. I don't know, Chuckles, how would you describe that sound?
That sounded like someone being torn apart by a symbiote from freaking Hellraiser.
A Cenobite execution.
Yeah.
Cenobite tear apart.
Out of nowhere, as you're introing the show, we hear this big loud "Wow!" Either that was one of my exes trying to give me a mating call, or someone was getting mutilated down there.
Which is very disquieting because on the floor above us, they claim to be a Christian splinter, not Buddhist, Baptist group. And so we've often speculated about the true nature of that cult upstairs above us. This has given us a clue. That sound was...
That was messed up. There's no way around that. We started out the Haunted Cabaret with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great way to start off the show, but, my condolences to whoever was the victim upstairs in the place of honor, I'll tell you. I don't know, maybe that's a little punctuation mark to the remarks I made about a couple of organized religions back on the last episode of Chuckles Crypt. Maybe that just puts a punctuation mark to my very intelligent, perceptive remarks. Who knows? But, No, Chuck, what? Get it off your chest.
No, it's just the way we started things off here. It's just this is going to be a good night.
Chuckles the Clown he's shaken up.
No, and I've never heard a noise like that. And I've visited Hell 2.0, and I've never heard a noise like that. I think with this building being cold, either someone's freezing to death down there, or like I said, someone's getting tortured. Now, what the hell was that noise out of somewhere? Like I said, these noises are coming out of the woodworks.
It's only the building settling. Just to fill in our listeners, the landlord's already informed us that he's having a problem with the boiler downstairs, so we are lacking heat right now. The studio, the landlord has thoughtfully provided us with an electric heater, to keep us from freezing and going into frostbite. But Chuckles, rest assured, these are, well, except for that noise from upstairs, that wasn't anything settling. The rest of the sounds we are hearing is the woodwork settling in the cold.
Right.
We are in a subarctic. They don't call it. What did they call it last winter? Some kind of Arctic surge or
Arctic blast.
Arctic blast. It was the Arctic blast last year here in New England, and this time it's the Siberian Express. They've come up with a new.
Can we just call it what it is?
Cold weather.
Winter.
Winter. Yes.
It happens.
Thank you. Because if we call it anything else, that might start a tirade on my part against the global warming camp, too.
I mean, do people call summer different things, like the phoenix of the heat or something like that? No. When it's hot out, you just call it flippin' hot summer. There's no nice, it's summer, it's hot. Winter, it's cold. Mother Nature, maybe a little late, kind of like I was a little late going through school, but it's still called winter.
Well,
it's cold.
Maybe what it is that, Rhode Island has only been inhabited for the past several centuries. I mean, people here in Rhode Island just haven't adapted quite yet to the snow.
I'm going to call bull crap on that one, because if you read back in the history books, and I do read history books, yeah, I'm a nerd, there are countless explanations, even from one of our famous Nathaniel Green, talking about how cold and bitter Rhode Island's winters are.
Well, that's my point. The Rhode Island winters have been cold and bitter for centuries, and people today are still trying to come to terms with the snow.
We're right on the coast. In an area that's on a coast, you suffer cold and bitter winters. If you don't like cold and bitter winter, there's a solution to this. Move to Florida.
Yes. Yeah, but, I mean, it is jarring, though. My very own 86-year-old father, who's still with us, who I thought was still in his right mind, actually started cursing the snowfall the last storm and ranting and raving, said, I can't believe this. Now, if you've been on this earth for 86 years and you live in Rhode Island, sorry, Dad, but you're not getting a pass on this one. You'd better believe it. Just like, we belief is what got us, talking about belief is what got us the hate mail from the Chuckles crypt, right?
Yeah, thank you for that, by the way.
You're welcome. Now, well, of course, now I have to enlarge on that for my own show. I mean, I can't let that go by. Just in case anybody's listening to the Haunted Cabaret that wasn't around for the last broadcast of...
Shame on you.
Well, yes, shame on you, first of all. But what got that whole ball rolling was Chuckles. I can't... Since you already talked about it once, just rehash very quickly that the bimbo with the dinosaurs.
All right, I'm sorry I'm going down this route again.
I have a point. There's a reason for this.
Some young lady out there is trying to discredit the belief of dinosaurs, saying that the fossils were man-made and the existence of dinosaurs is man-made. Blatantly saying that men are going around sticking these fossils 20, 15 feet in the ground just so paleontologists can come and discover them again.
Right, which is one of the, and you can stop right there, which is one of the stupidest statements. Now, if we had some kind of, I don't know, top 10 all-time, and I don't mean just stupid for the week, I mean all-time stupid, that would be up there in the top 10 list. But the reason I wanted to rehash that for a second is a segue, because lately I've found myself obsessed with watching dinosaur movies.
Nothing wrong with that?
Nothing at all wrong with it, especially if they involve Raquel Welch, 1 million years BC.
That's a good one.
Yep. Yeah, one of Hammer's finest. Special effects by Ray Harryhausen. Raquel Welch's special effects by nature.
Planet of the Dinosaurs.
Planet of the Dinosaurs. Oh, that's a very obscure one. Like Chuckles, you've mentioned this before on your show. Yeah, if anybody has a chance to see that, or make a point of seeing it, if you want to see some good special effects, if you want to see for the first time ever a human being impaled by the horn of a Styracosaurus, one of the great all-time moments in dinosaur movies, Planet of the Dinosaurs. The one I watched today wasn't so great. It was When Dinosaurs Rule the Earth. Now, it was a sequel to 1 million years BC, but it didn't have Raquel Welch. It didn't have Ray Harryhausen's special effects. So strike one, strike two. What it did, I can't remember the girl's name, but it did have full nudity. The only problem was that the nudity shown wasn't worth it. I mean, in 1 million years BC, you're waiting for Raquel's, for a bikini to come off. Never does. This one here, you get what you wanted in the first film, but it doesn't. You don't care.
Right.
You really don't.
Because it's like, Bigfoot. It's that 70s. They're that hairy, you don't see anything.
Well, I'll tell you, at least if they were hairy, it would have been a nod to authenticity, because we're talking about cave people here. But no, actually, when Dinosaurs Rule the Earth, I said to my friend I was watching it with, actually, and it's a Hammer film. I love Hammer Studios, but I hate to trash it, but sometimes you have to. This movie most closely resembled a deranged beach blanket movie. Remember those from back in the 60s? Frankie Avalon, Annette Funicello, and everybody would show up at the beach, and there'd be some poor excuse for a plot, kind of like an Elvis movie.
Oh, yep.
They'd just come up with a plot that made no sense just to have a bunch of songs and dancing and wiggling on the beach. Well, in When Dinosaurs Rule the Earth, all the cave people look like cast members of those beach films. The only difference is they're wearing tiger stripes and leopard spots bikinis, instead of the 60s go-go style there. So and you would think, you would say, okay, that's titillating, to say the least, but it's not.
Tit. I mean,
no, I didn't. I used it as an adjective.
Oh yeah, titillating.
It was titillating, an adjective. Just like if I mention Lake Titicaca, that's a geographic feature. That is not profanity. We cannot get FCC'd for that. But yes, the biggest crime of When Dinosaurs Rule the Earth is that they made countless women in bikinis and nudity boring, along with the dinosaurs. Crappy movie. I also watched, like I said, when I get into these frenzies of interest, I also watched 1 million BC, which is the 1940s original film from which they remade the Raquel Welch movie, 1 million years BC, like 20 years, 30 years later, if anybody's following all this. That one's not bad. And the reason it's not bad is because you have some cheesy special effects